All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Up and In Show Daily. If you guys are here, thank you guys, appreciate you. I know it's probably just my family members just checking on me, making sure I'm not losing my mind too much, like key or too much. um, but yeah, no. Today we're gonna keep it super simple on the positive messages. Uh, I'm kind of updating you guys or myself, I guess, on this deal with my shop and moving forward and things like that. So, as I took my daily notes, I'm reading off of my script here. Presence over possession. So, I've been thinking a lot about letting go. The Buddhist principle of attachment teaches us that our suffering often comes from trying to hold on to things, expectations to control. And right now, I'm living that as I walk away from the business that I built and into a new chapter. There's sadness, but there's also space to be present, to create, and even to document. So that's kind of what I'm doing here, right? In a strange way, starting from scratch, kind of exciting. As much as I am rebuilding, I'm also reimagining, and I'm documenting it all right here. So just trying to be present with you guys and appreciating that and coming from a place of gratitude and love. So thank you guys for tuning in and staying with me. And for everybody who has checked on me, I appreciate you. I love you, and I am doing well. So thank you. But something that I have come up with, and as I'm exploring these next chapters of my life and still working with some of the players that I'm working with and helping them build their portfolios, I thought a cool thing that I could do is kind of document some of my thinking and some of the things that I do kind of on a daily, as far as the way that I view collectibles and that perspective and alternative assets, right? So today I'm officially launching, what does that mean? I don't know. But ChatGPT is telling me I'm officially launching my collectibles portfolio project. It's my way of investing with intention, which I do believe in, right? Using wealth management principles to build long-term value through sports cards. And I say sports cards, but I really just mean like collectibles in general, because I do believe in like art figures, and I believe in cultural moments. I believe in artists and their legacies. So there'll be other things that will be in there, and even entrepreneurs like and right, like the V Friends, Topps Chrome, and things like that, where you believe in either the founder or the vision or the intellectual property or whatever it is, right? So the framework's going to be super simple, and it's going to be a lot of terms that you've probably heard in traditional investing and wealth management. But we're going to have 5 different classes, I guess, right? It'll be the fixed income, there'll be the blue chip assets, there'll be speculative investments, there'll be emerging markets, and there'll be alternative assets, right? I'm definitely going to write a full article this week on this stuff and kind of dive into each one a little bit more and have some fun there and really nerd out. I'll definitely provide some more like documents and some information, like other articles and things where people have made these, similar speculations, but also just some historical data and backup, and just, there's enough tools and technology out there to be able to track all this stuff. But for fixed income terms, we'll go with low risk, steady growers like Ken Griffey Jr.'s Upper Deck rookie card or flagship wax, right? So that'll be your sealed stuff, and we're gonna look at it as like more volume stuff, like stuff that was produced in volume, but maybe hard to gem and like get high pop gem rates and things like that. The blue chip assets will be like our iconic long-term holds. It'll be similar to fixed income in the sense of there's not going to be a lot of fluctuation. There'll be supply and demand laws in effect here, right? So it'll really take into account like the pop count there. So we're looking for lower pop count and the combination of like the brand of the player. So you would think LeBron and his, refractor, or I guess blue chip assets would be more his Upper Deck exquisite type stuff from his rookie year, where it's low numbered and low pop, and just very, very iconic stuff. Or the Derek Jeter like foil rookie card, very, very low pop 10 report, very hard to get a 10 in because of the foil, right? But Derek Jeter's brand is everlasting, and Yankees captain, right? 5 champion, all that good stuff. So then we'll go on to our speculative investments, and those will be like more like breakout guys. And for me, I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about Brenton Doyle, the outfielder for the Colorado Rockies. And if you guys watched yesterday, I dove into a little bit about why I like him. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, right? I talked about him yesterday. But there's plenty of other guys too that kind of fit that mold, like the Ellie De La Cruzes. You're going to pay a little bit more for them than Brenton Doyle, but they kind of fit that mold where their career is definitely on that path right now, but it is still a little speculative because they're in year 1, 2, 3, something like that, right? And they still have a body of work to go create, and then they still got to stay out of trouble and keep things off the field the right way in an ever evolving social media world and all of that stuff, right? Where there's more access and cameras and recordings and AI and all that shit. So again, still speculative as much as we love Ellie De La Cruz and he's a superstar today. We still got to take into account there's still speculation to be had around that. And then we'll have emerging markets, right? Like the NIL, where it's very new age with college sports and that kind of stuff. So interested to see how Fanatics, evolves that market with the Bowman Universities, the Bowman Chromes, all that kind of stuff. And then as the name, image, and likeness really grows and then, solidifies and there's regulation around it and it becomes more concrete, that's an interesting one for me. So emerging markets are things that we can speculate on that could have some value. We're going to dip our toe into the water and we're going to definitely, take part in it, but we're going to be careful and keep watching it very closely. But something that I think is kind of here to stay, but again, right, it's volatile, it's new, is the women's sports, right? Like the women's basketball has definitely put women's sports on the map, but I think that overall that has created an awareness that we needed in today's world that has allowed women to create a different platform for themselves. So the individual woman brand, it kind of goes into the NIL a little bit, right, is ever changing. So I think that'll be an interesting one to look into, and then international plays as well. And then alternative assets are just kind of like true one-of-ones, maybe art pieces, maybe more like one-off projects, dual autos, museum level cards. And those will be like the real true investments where, and that's maybe Mickey Mantle, a high grade Mickey Mantle. And again, it'll be something that you would probably even protect like as an LLC or different ways like that. But we can dive into that when we get there. But either way, I'll write an article more about it. But those will be the 5 categories that we're going to fit things into. And then we'll go from there. And again, this is going to be cool because I'm starting my collection from scratch. I have nothing. I'm starting over. And I'm going to be on a budget too, right? I'm going to go get a job and have a different income level. And, so it'll be interesting for me to document this journey and have some fun with rebuilding my collection. I'm asking for some things from the shop, but that's TBD. We'll see what happens there and how I'm going to have to buy those back. So I'll share all that in real time, but it'll be cool to see how these things appreciate, where my mindset was, how these players' careers will evolve, how their markets will evolve. But again, it's fun because I'm going to try to put it in wealth management terms that people are familiar with, but then connect the dots with sports and sports cards as the assets and the asset classes. So we'll see what happens, but could be fun. And then for today, for the continuing a little bit of that calculated risk mindset, is for sports betting today. I'm going to put a few picks out there specifically. I haven't looked up the exact odds for them yet. I'm going to do that later. I have some big phone calls coming up today, and the games don't start till 5 or 6 tonight, so I know I have some time. One of the things that I like doing is just having principles, right, in betting. So you just kind of have laws that you just abide by. It takes the emotion out of it, and it allows you kind of stay consistent, whether that's the amount that you're betting or the type that you're betting, or the player, the system, whatever it is, right? And so one of the ones that I want to talk about that I kind of brought up here, in the beginning when we were talking about calculated risk, were stolen bases. It's a very simple category. There's a few metrics that I'm really looking at. Look at that. I get the thumbs up. There we go. We love technology. And I think it's good because it's not really overcomplicated, and it's very favorable odds for the most part. Since it's more of a rare play, you don't have to bet as much. You're going to get probably, depending on the base stealer, if it's more of a Shohei and somebody who's going to steal 40, 50 bags this year, you'll probably get, in the high 200s, maybe low 300s if you're lucky. If the pitcher, doesn't give up a lot of base runners, then it might creep into the plus 400s. But for the most part, you're going to get good plus 300 range. And so you don't have to bet even a half a unit, right, to try to get good return on your money. So if we're looking at these, and I'm going to start calculating specifically so I can know what my exact hit rate is, and I definitely have some through Pickett that I can pull and look at the numbers, but I know I'm ROI positive for sure. I don't know what my win-loss record is, but I know I think it's over 500. But basically player steals, and we're going to have some principles within it. And there's a criteria, right? Player steals of 30 plus bases in the last 2 years, success rate of 70% or higher, facing a pitcher who allows stolen bases volume or high stolen base percentage. There's a career on base percentage against the pitcher of 330%. Already have a stolen base off that pitcher. That's when you really see the success rate go up for me. And then if you really want to add in another one, the last 7-day on base percentage of 30%, 300 or more for the hitter, right? And if they check 4 or 5 of those boxes, that's a go for me. So yesterday it would have smashed José, Ramírez, and Nico Hoerner. I think José had 2 stolen bases. And I literally was watching the Cubs game and I was like, Nico's on right now. He's going to steal second base. And literally I looked away and looked up and he was scoring a run from second base. And I was like, I went and looked at the box score and I was like, yep, stolen base. So again, right? It's not financial advice, but it is calculated risk. And so for me, this is the one that I like. And again, Mitch Keller has given up 40 stolen bases. I got to look it up, but it's got to be in the 90-something percentile the last couple of years. So Francisco Lindor versus Mitch Keller. Lindor has 35 stolen bases over the last 2 years and at an 88% success rate. Keller's allowed those 40 stolen bases at a 95% success rate. So motherfuckers are stealing off this guy and doing it successfully. So one, kudos to Keller for just letting these bases happen and just getting out of jam. So good for him, because his ERA is still, he's having a nice year, and it goes deep into games every time pretty much. But his on-base percentage against Keller in 16 ABs is 50%, 500. He's got 3 career stolen bases off Keller. Check. Lock this one in. Let's go. I don't know what the odds are if I had to guess. Lindor's odds for some reason are crazy good, like for the better. Like they're usually plus 350. I have gotten him multiple times at plus 400. Something tells me against Keller today, and once people see these numbers, it's going to be in the plus 200s. So I don't know. Just, again, bet at your own risk. Bet money you can afford to lose, but that one might be a good one to look into, guys. And then Trea Turner, he's only got 28 bags in the last 2 years, but he was also hurt for a lot of last year. He steals bags at a 78% success rate. Sonny Gray has 26 stolen bases allowed in the last 2 years at an 81% success rate. The on-base percentage that Trey has against Sonny is 440 and a lot of at-bats. He's got 4 career bags also, right? So I'm going to start tracking these. I like those 2 for tonight. So we'll see how those go tonight. But again, guys, follow me on Pickett. Use code Ranaudo. If you don't have it, you'll get a bonus, injection of cash as long as your Venmo and your PayPal are connected, between $3 and $100 as long as they're connected and you connect the sportsbook that has 10 bets with it. So go get some free money. Download Pickett. Follow my bets. Today I'll probably put those 2 out, and I'll probably throw in some hits, runs, RBIs depending on the batters and pitcher matchups and things like that. I just hadn't had a chance to look at it. Like I said, I had some big phone calls coming up here in the next couple minutes, and then as the day shakes free, I might have a chance to look at it. But if I have a chance to go do some stuff with the shop and close this out, I'm gonna do that. But make sure you guys are following me on Pickett. But again, appreciate you guys trying to document everything. Thank you for being here if you've made it this long. Actually, there's one more quick headline really quick before I let you guys go. Our guy, Paul Skenes, that's the fun part. The dude announced that he's pitching for the World Baseball Classic in 2026. So we're going to get to see him on the big stage competing for USA across his chest. And the last time that guy was really competing for a championship was when he was wearing purple and gold. So I thought that was cool. We're going to get to see him compete next year. If you're like me, if you're a little bit of a nerd, you've looked at his stats. And again, I'm not here to hate on the guy. His actual on-field baseball stats like ERA and quality starts and things like that are just as good, if not better, pretty much from last year. His K per 9 is definitely down, but a lot of his advanced metrics are slightly down. Again, we're splitting hairs here, right? We're talking a fastball velo that's down about a mile per hour, but it's still thrown at 97.9 miles per hour, right? But off-speed velocity is down, breaking velocity is slightly down. The exit velocity off of the bat is slightly up. The launch angle is very slightly up. The barrel rate is a little down, so that's good. That's what we like. The hard hit rate is up a little bit. Sweet spot is up, and most of the other things that you don't really love are up, but it is minimal, right? And I don't know if this is it. Again, I don't know. I haven't talked to the guy about it. I haven't heard too much. I hadn't heard any rumblings with the team, but his arm action this year is slightly different than it was last year. You guys can go to Baseball Savant. I'll link it in my article, but in 2024, he was at a 23 degree angle. This year he's 21 degrees. Now that is higher than his first couple starts. He was at 19 degrees through his first like 2 or 3. So maybe he's bringing it up a little bit, but that definitely is going to affect your horizontal and your vertical movement, right? So I'll dive into that in an article probably, and maybe like a little video, but interesting to think about, interesting to see how it shakes out. He's obviously a stud and still one of the best pitchers I've ever seen in my life, and I literally turn on the game every time he's pitching. So the dude is the man, and hopefully, you know, he continues to dominate because he's a great dude, and I think he's a great example and leader for our game, and it's pretty cool that he's going to wear the USA across his chest and compete in the World Baseball Classic and represent his country. And you know that the media is going to love that, right? America's ace and all that, and his Air Force love and his military love. So again, very cool for Paul. And it continues to add to a legendary resume of somebody who is starting their baseball career, and something we've never seen before. So much love to the kid, and I hope he keeps dominating and being a great ambassador for the game of baseball. And that's really all I have, guys. I got to get ready to roll because I do have a phone call in 10 minutes that I'm going to prep for. But peace and love. I will see you guys tomorrow.